Spain Handball.
There is a terrifying, almost toxic phenomenon that occurs when a sports team is overflowed with an unprecedented level of raw talent. Sheer individual brilliance begins to camouflage deep tactical incompetence. We are conditioned by mainstream sports media to worship the final score, seeing an undefeated record, and being told to celebrate. But if you understand the geometry and delicate ecosystem of high-level basketball, the reality looks very different. Watching the United States in this championship matchup against Spain was not a triumph to celebrate, but a frustrating display of tactical failure. Instead of orchestrating a dominant, free-flowing offensive showcase, the team turned what should have been a 40-point blowout into a disjointed and unnecessary struggle. After months of anticipation to see their most explosive offensive weapon back in action, the coaching staff, led by interim head coach Nate Tibbetts, chose not to build around her, but to suppress her impact. Despite proving her value in earlier games, she was benched for the championship and, when finally allowed to play, placed in a structurally flawed lineup alongside Chelsea Gray, Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, and De'Erica Hamby. On paper, it looked like a powerful scoring unit, but in reality, it was a positional disaster. Instead of allowing a generational point guard to control tempo and orchestrate the offense, she was pushed into an unnatural role, effectively playing as a power forward, setting off-ball screens, standing in the corner, and functioning as a decoy while others handled the ball. It was a basketball equivalent of misusing a world-class quarterback in a blocking role, stripping away the very qualities that make her elite. This decision didn't just stagnate the offense, it also created a defensive liability, as placing a perimeter guard in a front court role against a physically dominant Spanish team opened the door for exploitation in the paint.
What are we doing here? Caitlin Clark finished the game 7 points, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Only 1 turnover for Caitlin Clark, so she took care of the ball. 7 assists. This was Caitlin Clark making do with what she had. You know, the 7 points, she missed a good amount of 3-pointers. But the 7 assists shows that
the situation became even more alarming when the coaching staff forced Caitlin Clark to establish defensive position on the low block against players like Awafam, a towering and highly physical 6 feet 4 inches center. It was an obvious mismatch, one that the Spanish coaching staff immediately recognized and tried to exploit. Yet, this exact sequence shattered one of the laziest narratives surrounding Clark. Critics often label her as a defensive liability, but in a true David versus Goliath moment, she proved the opposite. Despite guarding someone significantly bigger in the paint, she held her ground, using her low center of gravity and strength to anchor herself. Then, with perfect timing and elite instincts, she stripped the ball with surgical precision, securing a crucial defensive stop and forcing a turnover. It was a display of grit and awareness that highlighted just how underrated her defensive instincts truly are, especially considering she was placed in that impossible situation by her own coaching staff. However, while her individual effort was remarkable, the broader offensive strategy from Team USA was nothing short of inexcusable. If a coach chooses to deploy a small, guard-heavy lineup with Clark functioning as a pseudo-power forward, there's only one logical way to make it work: push the pace relentlessly. Turn the game into a high-speed track meet, where speed neutralizes size. Instead, the coaching staff did the exact opposite. They slowed the game down, walking the ball up the court and initiating a half-court offense through Chelsea Gray, which played directly into Spain's disciplined defensive structure. The result was a complete offensive breakdown, what commentators politely described as freestyle.
7 points, missed a few open threes. Easily could have been 13-7. Easily could have been 13-7. But that's not the way the cookie crumbles. Shout out to Jim Carrey. Caitlin Clark in the first half today, 5 points, 4 assists, 0 turnover.
One of the most jaw-dropping moments of the entire tournament perfectly captured the essence of Caitlin Clark's brilliance. After securing the ball near her own baseline, while the rest of Team USA began drifting into yet another slow and predictable half-court setup, Clark was already thinking 2 steps ahead. In an instant, she scanned the entire floor and spotted Paige Bucher sprinting in transition. Without hesitation, and without even taking a single dribble to steady herself, she launched a pinpoint, 70-foot full-court pass that sliced to the defense and hit Bucher's perfectly in stride for an easy finish. It was the purest example of what makes Clark so special: the ability to instantly convert defense into unstoppable offense, all in one motion. That play alone embodied the fast-paced, high-octane style that Team USA should have embraced for the entire game. But instead of leaning into that energy, the offense repeatedly stalled. As the Spanish defense tightened and the shot clock dwindled, possessions became suffocating and directionless. Even the commentators couldn't ignore it, describing the offense as freestyle, as if players were simply improvising and hoping something would work. In those moments of complete breakdown, Clark was forced to rely on her ultimate bailout weapon. Crossing half court, she rejected the screen entirely and stepped back into a
with all. It doesn't look like there's a rhyme or reason to anything. A lot of freestyle offense. Even the announcers made note, like the offense just looks like they're freestyling out there. Looks like they're just throwing you-know-what at a wall and hoping it sticks.
Watch the anticipation and competitive fire from Caitlin Clark in this sequence. The ball is loose, the Spanish player is scrambling for an outlet, and in that split second, Clark instantly identifies a vulnerability. She explodes into the passing lane, jumps the route with authority, secures the steal, and immediately transforms a broken, chaotic moment into a live ball advantage for Team USA. That kind of relentless, instinct-driven pursuit is what separates a passive role player from a true generational catalyst. Even in a system that often sidelines her, she refuses to stand still or fade into the background. She forces her presence onto the game through effort, awareness, and sheer competitive will. And beyond the tactical frustrations and questionable coaching decisions, moments like this also reveal something deeper about the reality inside the Team USA locker room. For months, the narrative online has been filled with speculation, rumors of jealousy, internal tension, and a fractured team dynamic driven by ego and hierarchy. But plays like this suggest a different story. They show a player fully locked in, committed to winning, and willing to do whatever it takes to shift momentum, regardless of role or circumstance.
9 points, 2 assists. Kelsey Plum, 18 points. Erica Hamby, 14 points. Ka Copper, 20 points. A lot of Ka Copper's points, straight up ISO ball.
But in the middle of a tense championship game, a brief dead ball moment revealed something far more honest than all the noise surrounding this team. Cameras caught Dearica Hamby laughing, joking, and playfully placing a hat on Caitlin Clark's head. It was a small, lighthearted interaction, but it carried massive weight. In an instant, it dismantled months of media-driven narratives suggesting that this roster is divided, jealous, or incapable of coexisting. That moment showed genuine camaraderie, a team that actually enjoys being around each other. The reality is clear. The players are not the problem. The locker room chemistry is not the issue. And the overwhelming level of talent on this roster is certainly not a weakness. The real problem lies in a coaching philosophy that seems hesitant, almost fearful of embracing the future. Instead of adapting to a faster, more dynamic style of basketball, the system clings to an outdated, veteran-first hierarchy. It prioritizes control over creativity, structure over innovation, and in doing so, forces a clunky, inefficient brand to play. Rather than unlocking the full potential of its most transformative players, it holds them back, refusing to fully acknowledge that the modern game has already moved forward.
Head down. Dearica Hamby calling for the ball in the post, calling for it and calling for it. They gave it to her. She converted. Chelsea Gray, 8 points, 4 assists in 26 minutes.
Whenever Caitlin Clark was actually allowed to initiate the offense, the difference was immediate and undeniable. In one sequence, Jackie Young feeds her the ball. She takes a single dribble, draws the defense, and instantly fires a perfect pass to Paige Buchers in stride. Just like that, a slow, stagnant half-court possession transforms into a blazing fast break. That is the unique processing speed and offensive vision she brings, something that simply cannot be replicated. It's not just skill, it's tempo control at an elite level, and it exposes the hesitation of a coaching staff that seems unsure about fully embracing that style as the tournament ends with Team USA still undefeated. Fans are left with a strange mix of satisfaction and frustration. We've seen flashes of Clark's brilliance on the international stage, but only in fragments. Now comes the waiting period, as the WNBA navigates ongoing collective bargaining negotiations. The 2026 season hangs in uncertainty, with players pushing for a fair share of the massive revenue surge, much of it driven by Clark's impact while ownership hesitates. But once that situation is resolved, everything is about to change. When Clark returns to the Indiana Fever, she won't be miscast